Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. All right, guys. Great start of the earnings season. It's full throttle earnings season. Although today we had a bunch of other news based on this AI Stargate, so we were occupied with the Stargate trades. But Netflix, a huge trade, gap and crap. That's the star play of today. We'll talk about that. Then we have ARM that we are going to talk about that as well. So a lot to recap. Earning plays, setups. We have talked about that. Before we do, let's do a quick introduction for anybody who's new to the community, new to my YouTube, or anybody who's new to my Twitter or our Twitter accounts or our X accounts. Let's start. So all these trade recaps and all these teachings are anything I share on YouTube or my Twitter X accounts, or mostly from the community. We trade a repeatable system called Ripster EMA Cloud System, which is traded by thousands of traders across the world to trade consistently. You want to learn more about Ripster EMA Cloud System, you can watch the shorts, Google, you'll find a lot of information. I do have 1,000+ videos on my YouTube shorts that, covering the system. And we trade repeatable setup. Setup is what you trade. System is how you trade. Setup is born out of a system. And we have, 12, 15 day trade setups. We have, bunch of swing setups. Then we also have a lot of our, investment setups as well. So anything we do is always repeatable. It's not random, so that we can make consistent profits, keeping our losers small and our winners big. Every morning we make a game plan in the community. We make a game plan. I make this start to make this game plan half an hour before the market opens, and then we share this game plan with our members. This game plan includes news plays, upgrades, downgrade, earning plays, index stocks like Nvidia, Microsoft. If they have any kind of news, we cover those, and then we have a game plan for that. Game plan is nothing but initial bias. We have initial bias. And we trade using that game plan. We trade using, and so we will look at all the stocks and see how they went. We'll cover those as well. So not only that, we also share what we call as a daily levels. Daily levels is the levels for support and resistance that you can use to trade long or short based on these levels, and also using Ripster EMA clouds. In addition to that, we have also something called day 2, day 3 setups. Those day 2, day 3 setups are a repeatable strategy that I invented, which we try to trade anything that was moving, yesterday, day before yesterday, or a few days prior. So that's a day 2, day 3 strategy. Today, I personally didn't focus too much, but every day we share this watch list with our traders so they can focus on these day 2, day 3 setups and find opportunities. Again, everything is repeatable. We repeat it day in, day out, again and again. You can go to Tenet Trade Group Trade Recaps. If you don't like to watch videos, you will see 1,000+ timestamp guidance and trade recaps there. I'm on voice first few hours of the market open, guiding the traders through the market sentiment, market trend, any trade I see, any option flow, and if I like something, I share that trade setup. And we have 3-4 option scanners available. We have stock scanner. We have bunch of news scanners. News scanners literally make people our annual subscription of our community. We are not an alert service, but we're a family of traders, one of the biggest educational trading community online. And we try to find these opportunities in the stock market, so that we can make consistent profits, consistent money, and we can keep our losers small and winners big. So that being said, I'll show you my timestamp guidance. A lot of my guidance is on the voice, so I cannot really show that. But apart from that, we'll go through everything, and we'll go through one by one. Let's start. So let's talk about the market here and see how the market did in the morning. How did we plan our long on the market this morning? So as you know, we had this news in our game plan. We had the news that 500 billion Stargate Alliance for AI infrastructure in USA, that made everything gap up. All the semiconductors, AI stocks, basically all tech was gapping up. So when something is gapping up, we need to figure out how can we trade that, because there's always a risk of gap down. We always have a risk of the filling the gap, right? Because you see SPY has been moving higher and higher since inauguration, right back to the its previous all-time highs, which we are looking at for a breakout. We'll see how that goes. But how do we decide that we want to trade, go long or short, what we want to do in the morning? So that's when Ripster clouds come in handy, that how to trade the gap ups. So as soon as the market opened, we were looking at, we wait to see what market is doing. Initially, SPY was weak, but QQQ was stronger. QQQ was stronger. So when I saw this pre-market high breaking out and I saw some strength in other semiconductor names, I told everyone to long QQQ. I did not initially mention SPY QQQ long because it was weak, as you see, but it's breaking out a pre-market high. That's enough conviction for me to take that long. And then our stops were right here in this low of this candle. And then and then is you just let it run into 10 a.m. And then, of course, you can take SPY long as well. Very easy setup. And we are bouncing over the cloud. Cloud systems are green. 512 is being reclaimed. Pre-market highs breaking out. So it's easy long. I have covered this 1,000 times previously. So it was an easy long, and that's what my guidance was. As we started to move up, I told everybody to move stops up to 530 on QQQs. I gave the 532 target. Then we pulled back right here. We pulled back on SPY. I told everyone to close the SPY calls, but I never told anybody to close the QQ calls. So you can see that, right? SPY QQQ swiping 512s, use 512s as the stops. So as you see that, I said swiping of 512s, use 512s as your stops. And that's why it was still a long here. You can add back on the long here. And I did say roll into the further calls at 10 a.m. And that was I giving a target of 533. And you see that from that, this flag, this is, you have to be patient with your lotos. That's how they go 100, 200%. You see if you were trading options, you can trade. I usually say everyone to trade the closest one. So, 530 was a good one today. That went from $2 to $4, right? That was a nice 100% trade on that one. So you could literally trade those options and hold them. And you have to watch my webinar for SPY QQQ for living. And these are the same concepts I repeat every day. And it was easy trade on QQQs. Even though we were gapping up, that was fine. And then we broke 512s, right? I even tweeted about it when we broke this 512s. You can see that. That's when we get out. A lot of traders were short on the market. And even if you were short, it never went over that candle. If you were short, it was a nice fade for you. It was not an A+ setup. It's always a B- setup on this 512 shorts because your target is kind of already met if you're shorting it here. But you definitely get out of your calls. Very low range on the market, just trading 52% of ATR. SPY, very tight range. Not a lot of range on the market. But definitely there was an opportunity. And as you see that, we had the levels on SPY. If you look at the levels on SPY, 606.21, QQQ 5, almost 530s, and right here, 530 level and QQQ's level. You can see those levels broke out and we pushed higher. So traders are using those levels I provide every day, and they are trying to trade on their own. So that was a really, really nice real setup here. So let's go to the next one. So in case you want to see it again, I'm going to put the screenshot here again for you guys. You can pause the screen, see my guidance, everything step by step. No hindsight, no BS, everything in real time. Of course, you can join a community for a month and you will see that how we do it live on the voice. But that's how you make profit. If you were in 530 calls, even if you risk, let's say you're trading, risk $1,000, you probably made $2,000 by end of the day, even less. You don't have to risk that much, but lotos are usually more risky. But even if you risk $500, you made $1,000, $1,500 by end of the day. Or you can always trade leverage ETF that I teach you again and again. So anyways, that's how you trade gap and go on the SPY and QQQ using the pre-market levels, using the Ripster cloud. So let's look at ARM today. Let's see what was happening in ARM. Okay, so ARM, this target trade. Let me see if I can show you here how we traded ARM. Okay, so I gave the plan in the pre-market on ARM. The plan was pretty simple. Support was 162, resistance was 165.50. I said be a little cautious of profit taken at the open, but the breakout is over 165.50. So what does that mean? That means if it pushes over 165.50, you take long. Do not hesitate with your stops under the low of the candle or the clouds or the pre-market levels, and just take it long. So while I was, of course, I look at 100 things at the open. By the time I looked at ARM, it already broke out of that level. And as soon as it broke out, and I mentioned that it's a good long, actually I mentioned 3 longs, out of which AVGO did not work. But ARM, AVGO, NVIDIA, those were the 3 longs which I mentioned and gave the community. And we were long on ARM right at the open, and it was ARM pushed. And at 940, I gave the target. So I gave the ARM 180 target. You can see that 940, I gave 180 target, and then we were trading at 173. And we pushed to 180 target, and that's where you take first profit. And then it pulls back, and it's not fading under this level, 176. Clear level, you need to understand how this works. So as long as that holds, we have chance for our next leg up, because I gave the next target of 185. And I told everyone we can roll into the 185s. And at that moment, you can see that we held. And then after holding that level, and then we broke out. I think that's a flag breakout. Ideally, in most scenarios, we are looking for that flag breakout, and we're looking for the 185 next target. Use the whole numbers. It's always good. And I look at the daily resistance levels, but there was a big seller, right? There was a 183 was a seller. That's why we use Bookmap. Then was a seller at 185. So we never could cross the 183, and then we pulled back. At that time, you have to make a decision to lock more profit. You sell here, and then you see we're bouncing from the same level. Then it gives you another opportunity to go trade the long scalp right here as well. But at that time, it's just up, down, up, down, up, down. So most of the profit is made on this move. So you can clearly see how we traded ARM in the community. Everybody was very profitable on this ARM trade. Really nice job for everyone. Our trade had a really good entry. It was good. Basically, it was really good. A good trade by everyone in the community there. Govind did good, Dan, Frying Pan, everybody in the community really nailed it. And you have to be ready. Basically, you have to be ready for these setups, because if you know there's a top news and ARM is one of the top ones, you should focus. And if you miss, you miss, right? But the reason is, I know when it breaks out and it has a huge ATR, low floor, it can push, right? That's why I gave everybody the target of 180. And once it pushed, right? So you just need a small size. You don't need crazy size. Let's say you were just having, let's say you were trading the options, you were just in 170 calls. Those went from $2 to, $11. Even you bought $4, they went to $11. You're making 300% on there, right? So you can small size if you have FOMO. But anyways, beautiful trade, big trade for the community. Let's go to the next one. Now let's talk about the next one. There was one loser as well. Next one was AVGO. AVGO was a loser, and once I did some analysis why it didn't work, because AVGO was not really the beneficiary of the Stargate. So I gave the long at the open. You can see our levels. We were waiting for this levels on AVGO here, 247, 250, and we never could clear that pre-market highs. That's the difference between AVGO and ARM. You can clearly see. And that's why AVGO didn't work. But right away when it failed, we don't wait. We just get out. You see, first 7 minutes, I said out. Out of the long, there's a gap fill. And indeed, it filled the gap fill. We don't have time to wait all the way to lose from 245s, 244s, all the way to 240s, right? So you see that it was a gap fill, right? Because it was the gap fill and we were long, and it was just the gap fill. Take a loss and just move on. It filled almost not the full gap fill, but it did go a little bit there. But anyways, you can see the difference. What was the difference between ARM? Why was it a winner? And why was AVGO was a loser? But you see, when it's a loser, it's fine, few points, but it's a winner, it's giving you 10, 15 points. So that's the difference. Keep losers small, winners big. Now, we also had NVIDIA. NVIDIA was a Stargate winner, but it was not like a similar kind of setup, just like ARM. NVIDIA was a long, it was a decent long as well. It was a for us. But you can see that it pushed. I mean, it pushed, but it was not a lot of move. It was a couple of dollar move, enough for NVIDIA. So it was a confirmed long at versus 144. That's what I told everyone, that it's confirmed long versus 144. And as it started to push, our initial stops were 144, but then it started to push. Then I told everybody to move stops up. We had flow for 147, 147.50, and that nicely pushed. And it did push. If you want to look at the NVIDIA calls, see, we can look at these 147s in the morning. They did go from $1 to $2. They were like 100%, right? So there was time to make money. Of course, we did not get our full daily trend, but NVIDIA was definitely a winner for us, right? But once it's pulling back, then if you held it, then I said give this stops and you can add it here. It again went like $1.50, but then when it finally failed, you get out, and then it kind of bounced again. Maybe you scalp it, but we're not looking for this, man. We're looking for a trend. So we made a money in the morning, and then it was done, right? Definitely was not a loser of, yes, it's a loser if you're adding here, but look what my time was when I was talking about it. You need to supposed to add here. So AMD NVIDIA was a long, was a good long, but did not really end up being a great winner. But I repeatedly mentioned on the voice today that ARM is much better. Of course, the gap up on all the Stargate names, that was kind of messed up a lot of the trades, because a lot of the move got priced in, and whenever there's a gap up, we have a problem, right? So anyways, so that was the NVIDIA long trade. Let's go to the next one. All right, so let's go to the next play, Netflix. So Netflix was our gap and crap play today. I did, it was, it was a pretty easy setup. See, the 1,000 is big level. If you remember, Costco came back from 1,000 as well, sold over 4 days. Not saying, Netflix is going to do that, but it gives you a setup. It gives you a risk level to trade consistently. You have a gap and crap setup, and on top of that, you have so you have the cloud system, and then you have the 1,000. Let's see how we did. What was our planning, right? I'm not just going to throw it out after the fact. So let's see. So Netflix, I said long over 1,000. No go if it breaks 990 and 980. Only way we are longing Netflix is if it goes over 1,000. Simple. That's simple. And that's what I said on the voice in the pre-market as well, right? So right away, once that market open, it flushed. I said it's a short. It's a profit taking, and it's a short, because you can clearly define 1,000 risk. You take a short. Who cares? Worst case, it goes over 1,000 or 1,006, you get out. But if it keeps fading, it's a home run. And that's what happened, right? So it faded right away. 931 I mentioned, it faded to 966 on that very first candle. Big flush, huge profit taking. Now, if you're shorting here, that's a problem, because $30 down, you have to be ready, but you wait for the bounce. Then somebody was asking me, hey, Rip, can we long it? How can I long it? It's not a long, because my system is telling me this is bearish. It's just rejecting the clouds right here. So I would not long it. A lot of traders would long it. And I told them, if you long it, it's going to flush on you the bear flag, and it's going to be very deadly. It can flush 20 points in a minute. So clearly defined the 990 level. We could not get over there. Support becomes a resistance, and Netflix rejects. Boom, right? So you can see the timestamp guidance, profit taking short. Beauty rejects. That's the rejects right here, which I talk about. This is where you take a short. You wait for the bounce. Watch low of the day break to see the more fade. I gave the 950 target as well. I gave the 950 target when we were trading at 970, right? So somebody was saying, hey, Rip, your target, there was some troll on Twitter today. So anyways, I gave the 950 target, and then we slowly, we hit 954s. And if you see that, I was continuously lowering my stops.
continuously lowering my stops. My stops moved from 97 to 975, 971, 964, so that I can, even if I'm not locking anything, I can preserve my gains. Even when it tried to curl, I said exit shorts if candle confirms the curl. And I didn't say long because I was not really that confident here, because there was a sudden move up, and that's exactly what happened. It failed. But the problem was there was a buyer at 950. That was, my 950 target was short by 50 cents, I guess. But I did say, if you want to swing, you can swing some shorts. It's up to you. Because tomorrow, if we stay under 950, we're going to fill more gap towards 936. We'll see what happens. But anyways, big huge win today. And I also said you can trade the leverage ETF and NFXS. You don't have to trade the share options. That one went from 1730, 1830. Easy. You can, you're going to buy 5,000 shares of that. You risk like nothing, $500, $1,000, and you can make $4,000 easy. Right? So these are the setups you want to do, guys. This is called an A plus setup. There's 1,000 psychological number, gap and crap, easy levels, pre-market planning, and Costco did the same. And if it broke out 1,000, we would have long, no doubt about it, because then we would have to risk the setups downside risk level in a different way. But anyways, I was going to show you the options that really went crazy. 950 lotto, that was this is the calls. We are not worried about the calls. 950 950 puts, they were trading at $2. They went to $10, 300 400%. So there was a lot of opportunity. These are the A plus setups, guys. This is what you wait for. Netflix was the top earning play. That's why I highlighted it red for this very reason. And beautiful trade, right? Between Netflix, ARM, mostly we were done for the day. So, I didn't even look too much into the other earning plays. But let's recap few of those that worked. I think one or two did not work, but let's go through them. All right, so let's look at Tesla today. Well, so what were we doing on Tesla? Tesla was an MTF long. I told everybody to long Tesla. We long the amateur move. And understand, guys, the first move is the amateur move. That it can work out to pay really nicely, and it can sometimes pay you a little bit and you have to get out. Sometimes it can puke right away. So you need to understand when you trade. I like to trade amateur moves, and my losers are also mostly in amateur moves. So it's up to you, if you want to trade that or not. Like Tesla was a beautiful short in the morning the other day. So let's see here what was doing. So Tesla MTF long. The reason being that we had plan on Tesla. It was bearish, but we had our levels built here in the daily pre-market sheet for 920, 423. Nothing too much of the crazy news. So there's not a lot of catalyst there. But when it pushed over the clouds, and let me show it here. When it pushed over the cloud, I saw some flow, and that's why I decided to give it along to the community. But then we had 415 stops. That's the stops I gave. Pushed, pulled back. And by the time I looked at it, I didn't have time to stop out, even if there was cloud. So I decided to tell everybody that just use that stops. Let's see what happens. And it did bounce back from that area. Why? Because this was a support. So you should understand what's happening right here. So this was the support, and that's why I gave that level. But anyways, it pushed, and I told everybody, if you want to get out, break even, or if you're less loss, just move out. I don't like it unless it breaks this area or this area. And that's what it did, right? It went sideways all day long. Same thing as what it did on Apple. So you need to understand the price action. There was no trend there. There was no trend. So it's a waste of time trading it today, rather than trade ARM or Netflix short, or maybe even NVIDIA or Microsoft, which were other names which were going strong today. All right, let's go to the next one. So next earning play we're going to look at is UAL, United Airline. Another one was a gap and crap, right? So let's see what was our plan on UAL. The plan on UA was bullish bias versus 114. That was our initial bias because it was bullish, of course, right? But when I see the first candle drop under, you wait for the first candle drop under, there's no long. That said, no long in the gap. It's a short, and that was our gap here, and it filled the gap. Gap fill short, more gap fill short. I said more gap fill short, and then it bounced from MTF, failed to curl, and more short. As easy as it gets. Good small account traders, you could easily short it. Your stops over 115, 114. You stop the bounces, of course. You do not chase the shorts. You hit the pops. That's what I always say. And then it was even if you cover the first time, it was a nice $4, $5, $6 fade on that. And there was a great guidance by RGV in the community on UAL today, actually. So it's nice trade, step-by-step guidance, gap and grab. RGB was all over that. Easy. When there's setups like gap and grabs, guys, and I have covered it many times. This is not the first time. We have really, really crazy home run trades. And when you guys see that, why our community is so successful, because these setups I teach and I literally show real time and no BS. One trade has changed people's whole month. Literally there's so many. I mean, even this was not a great, Netflix was not a super gap and grab. We have had insane gap and grabs, and when they gap and grab, the options go 1000% sometimes. So learn the gap and grabs. Earning season coming up, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of those setups. So I want to talk about STX a bit here. So STX, reason I want to talk about is I didn't guide it. I was, we were busy with other setups, but the plan I gave in the pre-market, long if 106 holds, right? Seagate beating the APS. So, it's bullish. It's bouncing from, where did it bounce from? Right from that 106 area, right where I gave in pre-market. Like I was joking that I time traveled to future and came back and saw where it's going to bounce. And that's what I put in the pre-market plan. That's really what I didn't do that. But it's funny because, it's so accurate. And it's not that I have some magic wand or something. I know this is the 50 EMA clouds. That's how you can build your levels. And I know there is there's some kind of level here. So it was an easy whole number level to see if it holds. Then I will stay long. And that's exactly what happened. It bounced from 106. If you had limit orders, you were instantly profitable, and then pushed to 110 and then rallied all day. It rallied all day for a nice earning trades. And then it broke 512s. I even sent a price alert. When it was broken 512s, you could also short it, because earning plays give you the money upside, downside, right? When we 512 breaks here, it faded to 108. You could easily make money on both sides. So just want to recap that. Let's go to the next one. So there was many other earning plays. Just Stargate took a lot of focus today, but there was plays like this FULT 2130, 2160. That gave you a nice short once it was under cloud, breaking that 21 level was an easy short. So I'm just recapping so we know this earning season coming up. So it's important so that we know these things, because earnings is the most profitable season for us as traders. So yeah, the FULT was also nice from the plan. So let's look at IBKR. That was another one. That was let's see, the plan was there. IBKR was a all-time high breakout, long over 200. So reason I wanted to recap IBKR, because anything that's all-time highs on a good earnings, it's usually a good setup. It's usually a high probability long. And you see that once it broke 200, you can risk that 200 to trade it long. And literally went $10 in the morning, $10 later in the day, right? So those kind of things you need to plan and trade. So anyways, that was IBKR. There were some other plays. We had Halliburton, which was a short. Let's see. So let's look at Halliburton, right? So Halliburton was a short, right? When it was on its earning play, it was on our watch list, bearish to neutral, short under 29.20. So the plan was to short under this level, and it did fade $1 right at the open. I told everybody to watch the bounces right into the resistance. You watch the bounce here. Again bounced, again faded, right? So if you waited for bounce, there was money to make. You can hit the short here, 28.90, make $1. and you can make the money. But when it starts to hold this level, then that's a warning that you need to get out of the short. That's a dollar move, guys. I can go in a smaller time frame. I can show you. So the short, there were shorts, shorting the pops, initial short the pops, but then it started to curl, and that said, it turned bullish. It's no longer a short. So understand those things. Once it turned bullish, you could long as well, and then it pushed to 29.30 from 28.70. So that was a beautiful, beautiful, nice move as well. So you can see that. Beautiful, beautiful, nice move here from that. So understand that whenever playing earnings, see if it's breaking morning lows or not. If it's not breaking the morning lows in first 30 minutes, usually it's not going to work out. So anyways, that was a nice trade as well. There was some other plays as well. We had Roku and Disney. I said cautious of profit taking on Roku and Disney. That's the game plan I gave in the pre-market, and that's exactly what happened. There was profit taking in Roku because Roku was gapping up on Netflix. Nothing special that Roku did, and Roku literally did the gap and crap right there. Right? Disney, same thing, was gapping up because of the Netflix and literally did the gap and crap. So yeah, guys, you see, this is all repeatable setups, and that's why I said cautious profit taking, because Disney and Roku were just Netflix sympathies. There's nothing really, really, special about them. That they were just up on that. So there's the traders are going to take profit because they are like, oh wow, we are up. Our company didn't do anything, and we are up. And Disney was right at 20 EMA, so that gives you a good risk to short as well. So that was gap and crap as well, guys. So hopefully you guys learned a lot. Be ready for the earnings season. If you want to trade with us, join the community. Do not come for the alerts. Come for family of traders. Earnings seasons, I'll show you the repeatable setups that you can use for your life. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.